Hello, Helluva podcast listeners. This is a disclaimer that we added after, so that's why it doesn't have the normal intro of our show that will come after this. We just wanted to give a little disclaimer. This episode talks pretty in depth about themes of sexual assault and abuse. It gets really intense, and so we just wanted to say that beforehand so that you knew what you were kind of getting into in this episode. Remember to take care of yourself. If you're an audience member who's young or particularly sensitive to these kind of topics, your well-being is so much more important than listening to this episode. So please take care of yourself, make the choice that's best for you, and just be warned that things will get pretty intense in this episode. So it's going to transition into the normal episode now. Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Audie. The O is silent.
Silent.
Had to think about it.
And today we are hopefully finishing our discussion of X's and O's.
Yes, we are staying in front of this microphone until X's and O's is done, unless we get bored.
Yeah, or unless I feel like we gotta cap it at like 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay.
Especially because dinner stops in like 2 hours at our college.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
But we will be taking a hiatus after we finish X's and O's.
Yes.
If that doesn't end up being this episode, then we're gonna hopefully fit in one more episode at the start of the summer where we just finish it off, but then we're gonna go on a hiatus for a bit of the summer. We'll probably come back during the There's a butterfly.
There's a butterfly in the window behind us, sorry.
We're probably gonna come back during the summer, but with like a different schedule.
Yeah, whether we come back, we're not sure 100% if we come back, we'll come back with proper episodes. Sorry, I was facing away if you couldn't hear me. We're not sure if we'll come back with proper episodes or if we, because I know we're going to do the Q&A at some point in the summer. So just keep an eye out, follow the Instagram, all of the updates will be there. You can also subscribe to the newsletter, which is in the bio of the Instagram. That will have updates on when we're coming back, but also more information about it and about what we're doing. So that's like the more in-depth version of the Instagram.
Yeah. And you might get the news a little bit faster than other people as well.
Yeah.
There are still stickers available on our Big Cartel site if you want to go grab those. That's also in our link tree in our bio on Instagram at AA Discussions.
Yep, and when you buy those, you get a handwritten letter from us with some little doodles of some Helluva Boss characters. So,
shipping is free in the US, only $2 everywhere else.
Yeah.
And the stickers themselves are only $3. Cheap as freak.
Yeah, and they're good quality stickers.
They're good quality I genuinely, like, not just saying it.
Yeah.
I genuinely fucking love mine. It hasn't... It's been great.
Yeah. Also, if you are waiting on new merch to come out, we have decided that we are not going to make new merch until these sell out.
Yes.
So, buy them up.
Buy them up. And last bit of business, as of when we're recording this, Full Moon is not out, but will be out by the end of this week.
Yeah.
Before the end of this week, because it's confirmed to be coming out in May. We are in the last week of May.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God.
We thought it might come out on the full moon, which was, what day of the week was that?
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday of this past week. But Vivzy posted on her Twitter saying that it would be next week.
It would be, this week, for sure. They just need some more time to polish it and shit, which makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a big episode.
Yeah, she said it's a special one, this one, so I'm excited. And then also, the next episode that will be coming out after Full Moon is supposed to come out in June, so we're... there won't be too much time between this one and the next one.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And also a special one makes me wonder if it will be longer.
Yeah. Gosh.
And also we talked about what Full Moon is gonna be like and stuff, and we'll of course talk about it when we get to that episode. Yes. But we are fucking excited. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so emotional.
Yes. So much of the show has been leading up to this moment that's gonna happen in Full Moon, and I'm so fucking excited.
It would be so funny if it drops on our 5 hour, how long is it back to your house?
Oh yeah, like 4.5, 5 hour drive.
Yeah.
We could watch it in the car.
Yeah, we're just like...
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we gotta get to business so we can get through everything.
Okay.
X's and O's. We left off talking, I forget what the last thing we talked about was, but the next bullet point we had was to talk about Millie and Chaz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to know how long ago they were together. Again, you know me and the timeline of events. I just need to know when everything happened so I can piece it together in my little brain. But were they together before Moxie was with Chaz or after Moxie was with Chaz? Concurrently, maybe?
Concurrently, I didn't even think about that.
Whoa,
that's possible.
Chaz is a fucking douchebag. It's
Yeah.
very possible. Holy shit.
That's crazy.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
I not really related, but maybe related. I want to know how Millie and Moxie met, and if Chaz was dating them concurrently, and then they probably didn't. Well, no, because Moxie and Chaz broke things off when Moxie went to prison.
Yeah.
But, like, imagine, like, Moxie and Millie find out that their boyfriend has been cheating on them with some other person, and then they meet each other, and then they get married. That's a real Kurosami moment.
Yeah, that would be really funny. It is clear that they didn't know that each other dated
Yes,
Chaz.
that's right.
But that would be hilarious.
Something
also,
like that.
My big thing with Millie and Chaz is Chaz has no business being in Pride or in Wrath.
Yeah.
So, like, how did they meet?
No, that is a good point. I'm curious. I might have mentioned this last episode when we started talking about X's nose, but because Millie runs into Chaz at the start of that episode. Mm-hmm. So where was she, and why? Where was, you know, like,
presumably Pride.
Presumably Pride. So maybe he does have some business being in Pride.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's a place where a lot of people come in and out of.
Yeah.
It seems very, like, central to a lot of things. So I guess that makes sense. It's like the New York City of hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. It's just interesting to me, because, like, Moxie and Chaz make sense because...
Agreed. Yeah, we saw that whole story.
Yeah, so it's like, I just want to know.
Yeah.
Also, we had some headcanons about Chaz and Millie, mainly how Chaz treated Millie when they dated. Disclaimer, this is going off of barely anything.
Yeah, but also
it was just kind of stuff that when I would be like, hey, Audie, do you think this crazy thing? And then we were like, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one is, Chaz definitely regularly told Millie to calm down and stop with her, quote, female emotions. And, like, that kind of shit. Like, that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, women and their emotions.
He's such a fucking incel.
Yeah.
He definitely has a Reddit account.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Discord mod.
He has a Reddit account, and he posts in the Am I the Asshole, and he's always the
asshole. Yeah. Do you think they have Yodel in Hell? Because he's definitely a Yodel moderator. Sorry.
True.
Yodel was born in Hell, let me be
Yodel
clear.
was born in Hell, but also, do they have colleges in Hell?
I feel like... Maybe. Blitz makes the jokes of the college I dropped out of.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not a joke and he did go to college, but either way, he references college.
Yeah, but Yodel is, like, very exclusively a college thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's ended up being, but I think as a premise, it's just, like, hyper-localness.
Yeah.
But yes, it's culture, that's what it is. Like, it's college kids, but...
Yeah, but I agree that he would be a Yodel monitor.
He would be a Yodel monitor. Also, in the episode, we hear him refer to Millie as crazy bitch, which, as much as I hate him, I do love that line delivery.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Ah, crazy bitch! But he probably called her that when they were together.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, an argument, and then Millie gets heated, because we've all seen Millie get heated.
Yeah.
And he, like, calls her a crazy bitch. And that also... makes me wonder, like Millie obviously has so much anger for this guy. At the end, when he does call her a crazy bitch, it is because of what he did to Moxie.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, we see just her anger towards him. And so it makes me wonder, like, what did Millie go through in this relationship?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe he made her feel like she was, like, too much, or that she was, like, a broken woman for being angry and stuff, which is perpetually, as we see with her family, kind of a theme. And that makes me want to kill him even more.
Yeah. Yeah, we see a lot of what Moxie and Chaz, what their dynamic was like, but we don't see anything about what him and Millie were like. And I think whenever they go more in depth into Millie as a character and her childhood and stuff like that, I think that's maybe when they could bring some of that in more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that could be very telling.
I think I have a hope that the shorts will have a lot of Millie in them, mainly because it started with Hell's Bells. I don't know that will happen, but I have a hope that will, because I don't think it's the best solution, but it seems like that's kind of what it's meant to be, is like, oh, people have these complaints about the show, I'm gonna put it in the shorts.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but it's something.
I think Yeah, I think maybe it's just, like, these are things that we haven't had time to address in the main show, and so we're gonna do it here, and that tends to align with what people's complaints are as well,
Yeah.
but which is not, just write a better show then, you know, make the time, but...
I do really like Hell's Bells, to be fair.
Hell's Bells is really good.
Yeah, and we will talk about that. We're gonna do that episode at some point.
Yeah. Hell's Bells and Look My Way. Maybe this
yeah.
summer when we do some bonus content.
Yeah, or we'll do it in line chronologically when those two came out. But either way, you all will get that at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think even, like, the themes in Hell's Bells, too, like, I feel like that even relates a little bit to
yeah.
Chaz. So yeah. I want more of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to know their relationship. Obviously, we're not going to see them interact again.
But flashback.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
All right. Moxie and Chaz, are we ready?
Yeah. So, was this Moxie's first romantic relationship, quote unquote?
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. Was this the first romantic experience he ever had with someone, or even just his first, like, queer relationship?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely feels like first relationship vibes. Like, it feels very kind of juvenile in some ways. But also, like, at a minimum, I would be willing to put money on the fact that this is his first queer relationship.
Definitely. I definitely...
Because where the fuck is he going to be exposed to queerness?
Yeah. And Crimson being homophobic. I mean, sort of trying, which is really funny, and we'll get to that, but definitely a homophobe. So makes sense if he hadn't had any kind of experience like that, even if he was with, like, a woman.
Yeah.
Or a girl, if he was a kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not picturing, like, 12-year-old Moxie with a woman.
Why not? No, kidding. Yeah. And I think that also makes him particularly vulnerable because, like, first relationship is, like, oh my god, it's the first person who sees me like this, and, like, so I think that's just really important to note.
Yeah.
My next thing, this is in all caps. Asshole can't even spell Moxie's name right, fuck off. This is referring to when Chaz, is holding up the signs and is like, do you want to fuck, I think.
The Love Actually reference, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that a Love Actually?
Yeah.
This episode is full of references that I did not get.
I didn't get the Titanic one for, like, the first 4 times I watched it. Like,
yeah,
it's
same.
been 84 years.
I haven't seen Titanic, I don't think, so.
I've seen it, which is even worse that I didn't get it. Yeah, no, and it's a reference to Love Actually when the guy shows up at the girl's door and is just doing the cards. Have you seen Love Actually?
I think maybe.
It was my mom's Christmas present wrapping movie for years.
Oh.
Like, she'd be wrapping presents and watching Love Actually every year, so when I was old enough to do that with her, I would watch the movie.
Yeah, real. But that's a clever reference then.
Yeah.
But the part here is that he does this, he spells Moxie's name wrong.
Yeah. I think it's like Moksie or something like that. It's really, really bad.
And then Moxie still, like, blushes and is like,
Yeah.
And it's like, boy, you deserve so much better. But honestly, now would he even think he deserves better?
Yeah. And especially going back to this being his first relationship, or even just one of his first, like, because he met Chaz at his induction, so he's, like, very much still young.
Yeah,
like,
probably about 18.
Probably about 18, no younger than 16.
Yeah.
So he's very much, I mean, he's not much older than that now, supposedly, but he's still very much, like, growing into himself at this point in his life. I mean, what fucking 18-year-old knows anything about themselves? But, so does he think that this is what a relationship should be, or it's what he specifically deserves?
Yeah.
Chaz is maybe the first person to show him, quote-unquote,
love.
Since his mom, also.
Yeah, which he's probably longed for that for so long, because he doesn't have, like, obviously, when you don't have love, you long for it, generally, but... Yeah,
I think it's even just Chaz showing him attention.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can't imagine...
Attention that's not, like, abuse.
Exactly,
well,
yeah.
It is abuse, but, like, like, straight up, like, hitting him and shit.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine his dad, like, when he's not just fully, like, slapping him and degrading him. He's probably just not paying any mind to him at all. And he hasn't had anyone to pay any mind to him, but then he sees, like, this guy looking at him from across the room at his induction, and it's like, oh, this person makes me feel special and seen.
And this person likes looking at me. It's classic grooming. That's why I always thought that Chaz is older. I don't know by much. I think by, like, maybe, like, 5 years or so.
Yeah. It's hard to tell because he's such a piss baby.
Yeah, it is hard to tell because also we have literally nothing to go off of.
Yeah.
It's just, he's already part of a mafia family.
Yeah.
And he's just a standard run-of-the-mill groomer. Like, he's really good at it.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes me think he's older. But
why is he trying to get into Moxie's mafia family then? If he was already, do you think he got, like, booted from his last one or something?
Either booted or I'm pretty sure Crimson's mafia family is
better.
Yeah. I think it is the top.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And also, I don't know. It's possible that he might even be well, as of this episode, he's not. Mm-hmm. But it's possible that he might have been a part of it before and either got booted because he did bad, like he did bad on the heist, or possibly that he was just really low stake in it, like he was just an associate. I don't know. But he's at the induction, which means that he's either in this family or he's in another family.
Yeah.
Or has some weird close relation that allows him to be here.
Yeah.
Maybe like a kid of a... But I don't think he's a kid at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Vivzy Pop sexualizing sexual abuse victims again. Or Vivzy Pop, Spindlehurst, the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The whole, draw me like one of your French girls things. I think it is technically... It is part of the Titanic reference.
That's a Titanic reference, yeah.
Yeah. But also it's just, it's one of those things that's why?
Yeah.
This wasn't... we're actively talking about, an abusive situation.
Yeah.
It's not as explicit. It's not as bad as other things.
Yeah.
But if Vivzy Pop and Spindlehorse didn't do this in more times, then it would be... yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. The thing with Moxie and Chaz also is that it's very much, especially, what we see in the present day, it's very toxic and abusive from Chaz's end, fully harassing him sexually.
Yeah.
But the show doesn't really paint it that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very self-aware of what it's doing.
Yeah.
So, not that this is okay, but it's I think they just straight up didn't realize that it was another, sexualizing abuse victims incident because they're not even thinking of this as abuse, which is also not good.
Yeah.
Cause
I mean, I think you're exactly right, because I think it's the same exact, and we're not going to talk about this for long, because we need to stay on topic, but has been.
Yes.
With Angel. Mm-hmm. That would not have gone out if they had critically thought about that at all.
Yeah.
If they had been wow, is this sexualizing an abuse victim? If they had that thought, that episode would have been different.
Yeah.
But...
And also sort of, glamorizing and...
Yeah.
the abuse itself... I'm not going to talk about husband too much, but the abuse itself is, it's meant to be bad and look bad, but then, with the whole poison sequence, it's very much, it's all... I know that's part of it, it's, because he's recording and acting and stuff, so it's supposed to be performance-y, but it's very, glitz and glam and feels...
Yeah.
It's just none of it works very well together.
Maybe I should do an episode where I just read my entire essay on this.
Yeah.
My 17-page essay.
Yes.
But, yeah, I agree. I think Poison has some merit because it does show dissociation very clearly.
Yeah.
And how, the glitz and glam is how he copes. Mm-hmm. But also
it's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated, and also I think it is, fundamentally, of course, it is creators' fault of this, but also the way the general audience does not perceive Poison as that. They perceive it as, oh my god,
yeah,
he's having fun and loving this abuse, yeah,
no, it's done. It's not done well.
Yeah, and it's done
what they're trying to do
in a way that allows for the majority of the audience to take it that way.
Yeah,
is the problem.
Yeah,
it needed to be done more clearly, and banger song, but
the musicality. Yeah, let's be clear.
But then also to do that and then follow it up with Loser Baby, that was the last straw for me. Everything was I'm okay, they could make this mistake, but then maybe fix it, and then Loser Baby happened, and then they stopped talking about it.
Yeah. No,
Except for the scene with Val in Welcome to Heaven, but that's...
Yeah, it's so... Anyway.
Yeah, maybe we should do a bonus episode on Has-Been, and we can, like, speed run and, like, do a tier list.
Yeah.
But...
Maybe, like, a two-parter, like, first 4 episodes, second 4 episodes kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let us know if you would like that, listeners. But we felt the need to talk about that just so, in context, like, the sexualizing abuse victims in this show is obviously not okay, because it's sexualizing abuse victims, but these are things that, like, probably wouldn't, like, the stuff in this show is stuff that probably wouldn't get that read into, except for the things with Fizz, but we'll get to that in the future. But then, given other content that Vivzy and Spindlehorse have created, it's a trend, and so that's why it needs to be acknowledged in these episodes.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, there's a lot of... I think it really comes down to a lack of self-awareness in a lot of ways, where...
And if you're... Because Vivzy and the team very much pride themselves on being an indie, like, production company, and indie productions, not Has-Been now, obviously, but Helluva, like, the whole thing is that it's indie, and that it takes risks, and that it talks about difficult things. Yeah. And Has-Been, too, is trying... Like, the whole thing is it sticks to its indie roots.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're going to specifically, actively, and outwardly be in that field, you have to do it right.
You have to do it right. Taking risks isn't about, like, shock value and, like, getting laughs out of something that's
and specifically
not
indie
laughable.
film. Like, that's alternative film. Indie film and animation is about representation and about doing it right.
Yeah.
So it's...
Like, you can have dark humor in there for sure, but you have to be sensible about it and know what you're saying and what you're implying. And we also mentioned here, which we'll get into later, but this paired with the "this ass is mine" thing, where Millie slaps Moxie on the ass later. Yeah. Different, but still sort of fundamentally in line with this.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a lot later. There's a lot of notes under that one, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll get to that then.
But yeah, it's just keep this one in mind. And then also the big part, like, when we first wrote the notes, we didn't even write this scene down, but I added it when I typed the notes, because I realized it's the only time we see, like, this is the most naked we see Moxie in the entire show. Yeah. Which, having that be, while he's actively being observed and documented by his abuser, is weird.
It feels weird, and it's icky.
And then, not relevant to all of this, but Chaz is a horrible artist. Like, just to add to the pile, he's horrible at drawing.
No, yeah. We fucking...
like, what is this guy good for?
Literally nothing. Honestly, I don't like Crimson, but he did kill Chaz, and you gotta respect him for that.
Real. And, like, the only good thing, in canon that Chaz is good for is his dick, but he's not even good at using it.
Yeah, which we'll get to that also. Like, genuinely, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. Anyway.
The last thing with Moxie and Chaz.
Yeah. Chaz abandons Moxie during the heist. Which, you know, little homie abandonment issues. Moxie, his mom died, leaving him behind with no one else. Chaz.
His dad.
Except his dad. Chaz leaves him behind, literally just to get taken into prison. Yeah. Like, if he hadn't met Blitz there, he would have had no one again. Yeah. Or maybe not even his dad at that point, because he would have, like, gotten out of jail and then, like, have to choose, like, do I go back home? Do I fight for myself? Like, what do I do? He might have gone back home. He might have continued to be part of that life if Blitz hadn't been there, which is fucking really interesting to think about, but God.
I was gonna say, our next whole section is Moxie and Blitz.
Yes, this makes me fucking crazy. I need to know more.
Yeah.
I need to know what the fuck is Blitz there for. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
No, you're good.
But yeah, Blitz doesn't know anything about Moxie. They haven't met before this moment. This is them meeting each other for the first time. What the fuck is Blitz there for? In Greed, which is a really interesting part to me, because I would assume there's not just a prison in Greed and nowhere else. That doesn't make sense. I mean, you could argue that the systems in place, including capitalism, are part of why prisons are the way that they are. But I don't think that much thought was put into it. I digress. But I would assume that there are prisons in other rings other than Greed. So Blitz had to have been in Greed to be in this Greed prison, or done something to someone in Greed.
Yeah, and that
Mammon Maybe.
Yeah, something with Mammon, which, like, that, like, to Mammon directly makes a lot of sense.
But
was
Mammon
he...
would have remembered him, I feel like, if that was the case.
Also, this is just a little theory that has popped in my head right now. Possibly trying to see Fizz.
Yeah.
And getting taken away.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
But I feel like most likely, because they used to kill people in Hell.
Yes.
So I feel like most likely it was probably something with IMP.
Yeah.
And also, has IMP always been based in Pride? Or did they move up to Pride since Pride is like the city?
Right, and that's where the sinners come from. So they would have had to be based in Pride if they're working with sinners.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, yeah, for Earth. But
for Earth,
if they're working in Hell, they might have been based in Green.
They could have been based somewhere else, yeah.
And they could have been like hitmen, like, to help with the Mafia and things like that.
And also, who is IMP at this point in time? Is it just Blitz and, like... He has Luna. He says, I have to get home to my daughter.
He lives in Pride.
Does he say that?
No, but we've seen his apartment.
Yeah, but he might not have always lived there.
That's true.
We don't know where he's from.
Yeah. I just assume because of the arrangement, where it's like the Blitz on the couch and Luna in the room, it seems like kind of when she moved in, that's what it's been.
Yeah, but also, depending how easy it is to get from one ring to another, he could very much live somewhere and work in another ring.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so even if that is the case. Yeah. Also, he introduces himself as Blitz, I'm Blitz, the O is silent, which, I mean, depending when, like, how long has it been since the circus fire at this point?
Well, he's full adult, no braces.
Full adult. The circus fire happened when he was about 16, is what our...
16 to 18.
16 to 18.
Yeah.
So, and Moxie... I don't know if we have any way of knowing. We can,
I don't think so. If we do, we can talk about it at a different time.
Yeah.
But... Oh, wait, he has Luna. So this is significantly later.
Oh, yeah. And Luna had to have been... Luna was 17 when he adopted
at a
her,
minimum.
and she's 22 now.
Yeah, so this is semi-recent.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So at most, this was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And then that means also that... IMP with everybody is probably less than 5 years old, and Moxie and Blitz have only known each other for like 5 years, if that.
Maybe less than that.
Yeah.
So the circus fire at a minimum was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Wait, so how long did Millie and Moxie date before they got married?
I don't know. They are the type to
get married in Vegas.
Yeah.
No,
I think it would have been really like a really romantic wedding, but they're together for like 2 months, and then they're just like,
real.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
They like elope in Vegas, and they go on like the most beautiful honeymoon ever.
Yeah. Maybe it would make sense if Millie is already working with Blitz at this point, because then Moxie could have met her like when him and Blitz get out of jail. And
I would love if Millie is the babysitter.
Yes, for Luna? Yeah. That's so good.
Mind you, Luna, who is at a minimum 17 years old.
Yes. At a minimum.
At a minimum, 17 years old. Blitz is giving her a babysitter.
Yeah. Yeah, also Blitz says that Moxie looks like he's someone who's good with a gun, which is correct, but also how the fuck do you know that?
Yeah, how did he know that? Has he seen his work before?
He doesn't know Moxie's in the Mafia.
Oh, right. So no, there's
no.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And then Moxie, I hope I didn't skip anything, but Moxie starts smiling when Blitz starts talking about his plan to, like, escape, and talking about how he needs to get home to his daughter, where at first Moxie, like, Blitz was, like, talking a mile a minute at him, and Moxie is just like, what is going on? But then he starts smiling at this point, and it's like, oh, like, he kind of knows, like, this is someone who's we're gonna help each other out at the very least, and maybe he's not alone in this moment.
Yeah, I think also he's like, this is my out. Yeah. And not of jail, of the Mafia.
Of the Mafia,
which
everything.
is, like, huge. Also, just a little thing that, from a bit earlier, when Blitz is like, you look like someone who's good with a gun, and I hope you are. And Moxie, like, just raises his little finger. You look like someone who's good with a gun. It's like one of my favorite animation things. I don't know why. It's just
also,
so good.
Imagine being Moxie so badly wanting to get away from this Mafia family, and then he meets a total stranger, and the guy's like, you look like you're good with a gun. I'd be like, God fucking damn it.
He'd be like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Blitz's performance.
Yeah, I added this, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this is new to me. Do you want to take this?
Yeah, so Blitz's performance convincing Moxie to help him. I think I had D&D on the brain with this one. He got hella charisma and hella performance skill.
Blitz's +9 to performance.
Yeah, but it's like, at least I forgot I said this, at least the circus was good for something, is what I wrote. And then also, going back to the quote that we never can quite place, when you're good at something, you should probably capitalize on it.
Yeah.
That Blitz says, what, in Harvest Moon?
Yeah.
But we're always fucking circling back to.
It always comes back to that fucking line.
Yeah,
truly.
because, maybe maybe his time in the circus, by performing, but also by surviving with his dad and with everyone, the creeps and everything, kind of taught him, like, obviously we've talked about how the creeps taught him how to protect people and protect Fizz, but also with the performance part, like, he's really good at lying, and he's really on his toes, and, like, we've talked about how he's fundamentally as a character, which we talk about later, so I won't get too into it. But yeah, I think it's really interesting, that parallel.
Yeah, I feel also, performing not just as a literal performer, but, like, for his dad.
Yeah.
Like, lying to his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Being, yeah. He's fascinating. Also, I just had the thought, a D&D campaign set in Hell, like this version of Hell, the Helluverse.
I'd DM.
I
Bro who's never DM'd before.
Bro, yeah. That'd be so fucking fun, though. Yeah, and then,
Virtual campaign? Anyone?
Any takers?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. But then, Moxie, like, as this sort of flashback sequence ends, and he's looking at Blitz and he's smiling, and he goes, "I never looked back."
Yeah.
And it's just, and Blitz looks, like, sad here. He's, like, or, I don't know if it's, he doesn't know why Moxie was in jail. Probably, like, he didn't know until now. And
in the scene of the jail cell, Moxie dodges the question twice, like, doesn't answer it twice.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is the first time hearing why he was in jail. And so, like, thinking of, like, Blitz was there and has been with his side the entire time and didn't know all of this tragic shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel bad.
And he doesn't even know most of it. Like,
yeah.
He doesn't know about Crimson, and
no one does.
Really is. No one does. Still, no one does.
Yeah, unless he had a conversation with Millie, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, like, other than what Millie and Blitz see, which, like, they can tell that he's a sack of shit by the end of it, but they don't see the abuse. They don't know about Moxie's mom. They don't know. They really don't know the fucking half of it, and that's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Because they probably already feel
And Moxie
bad.
has never been to a therapist.
God, no. He doesn't even have BetterHelp like Blitz does in our version.
Which honestly might be better.
Yeah.
Because if Moxie went to BetterHelp, I think it would make him worse.
No, yeah. BetterHelp does actively make Blitz worse. It's the thing.
It helps him every now and again, but then he's like, oh, I'm mentally ill, and so I'm allowed to be a shithead?
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit he gets from BetterHelp.
Yeah. No, but just imagine being Blitz, who thinks he is bad for everyone around him, and sorry, Alex has been downloading Minecraft while we're recording,
and it just downloaded.
It just downloaded. Sorry, I couldn't not say something.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But you're Blitz, you think you make everyone's lives worse. This is just a trend in your life that you have noticed since you were a child, or your whole life.
Yeah.
And then you find out that, like, you were an out for, like, your friend. Like,
yeah.
I feel like it's ultimately good, but I can understand why he'd feel, like, so conflicted and upset about that, because he's like, oh, I was his escape? I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
deserve
like,
to be that.
I also, on that regard, I want Blitz and Fizz to have a conversation.
Period.
Yeah, well, they have had conversations, thank God. Yeah. But I want them to have a conversation about their childhood, specifically their teen years, and how, because, like, Blitz 100% protected Fizz for a lot.
Yes.
And you can tell by the way that Fizz interacts with Blitz that he's grateful for that. And he's grateful for that role that he has even now,
Yeah.
like with Mammon.
Yeah.
But not Fizz, Blitz probably doesn't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Blitz is like, this is my job, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see, like, he probably doesn't think that Fizz, like he thinks that Fizz, like, likes him, but, like, but does he think that Fizz, like, cares about him?
Yeah.
And, like, appreciates his company and appreciates what he did for him?
Yeah.
That he was good for Fizz? Like, no, he doesn't think that.
No, because even if he can accept, like, oh, I did a good thing by protecting Fizz, he's still just like, well, only I was valuable to him, but, like, that's it.
And then also to protect him, like, the whole time when they're kids, and then be the reason for the fire that permanently disables him.
Yeah. That's gonna...
Like, that's fucking crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
Alright, next bullet point, pleasant dinner conversation.
A wonderful, normal dinner experience.
Yeah.
Everyone looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, but Moxie is, like, frowning. He's so upset.
Moxie's so fucking sad. It's like the, similar to the first episode when they, kill... Or no, is that the pilot or is that Murder Family? Murder Family.
Yes.
Like, they killed the bitch. No, they killed the bitch where they're all, like, celebrating and
he's just
so sad.
upset.
Yeah. Similar vibes, except now everyone is fucking uncomfortable.
And then we already talked a little bit about why isn't Chaz in the family yet, and, like, bringing Chaz into the family. And since he was at the induction, I wonder how long has this dude been trying to prove himself?
Yeah.
Like, at least 5 years.
Or a maximum of 5 years.
Well, no, because he could have been 4.
Oh! Yes.
Because it's been 5 years since the jail.
At most, it's been 5 years since the jail, is what I mean. Yeah, but you're right. He could have been doing it before that also, so...
Yeah. That being said, assuming that he didn't, get kicked out of the family, but the way that Moxie says, since when can just anybody join the family?
Yeah.
Makes me think that he wasn't part of their family, but then they did heists together. So was that, like, work to try to get in?
I don't know.
Because that's possible.
That's possible. I've played a lot of Mafia runs on BitLife recently, and that seems like the kind of shit that would work.
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty standard for, like, mafias and organized crime generally, is they have you do little jobs to see how you are.
Yeah.
So a heist would be one of them, and he failed a heist, and he's not getting in.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah.
I mean, he left Moxie behind, so, like, I mean, he got the money, supposedly, so...
Yeah, but also that might have been part of it. For, like, leaving Moxie...
Yeah.
The son of the Godfather.
The son of the Godfather, yeah.
Behind.
It's not just like he left some random guy behind. Yeah. He left the son
of the only living family member, presumably.
Yeah.
Of the Godfather.
Of the Godfather, yeah.
Assuming that Crimson's Godfather. I feel like it's pretty clear.
I feel like that's the implication,
yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if that was part of it. But also, like, that's a whole thing. Like, how long was he trying to prove himself? Not to justify Chaz, he's a shitty person.
Oh, yeah.
But... how long was he trying to prove himself to Crimson to get into this mafia family before? Mm-hmm. Like, when he left Moxie, like, it was the decision between working towards this thing possibly that he'd been working on for so long and leaving Moxie.
Do you think the only reason he was ever interested in Moxie is because he's the son of the Godfather?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
And because he wanted someone to fuck, and he's an easy target. Yeah. For grooming and such.
Yeah. Maybe, but, because, like, the whole thing with this is that he's, like, marrying Moxie to get in, but maybe, like, that was his plan the whole time. Yeah. Now it's Crimson's plan, but maybe it was Chaz's plan all along.
I wonder if they've talked about that.
Who?
Crimson and Chaz. Because Crimson doesn't give a shit about Moxie anymore.
Yeah.
But he might have at one, like, I don't know if he actually ever cared about Moxie, but, like, he would care in the mafia way, and the, like, oh, you wronged my son, I'm gonna fucking kill you kind of way.
Yeah. I think if, like, because the whole thing is that Chaz is lying about the fact that he's coming to a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. So if he approaches Crimson, and Crimson's like, oh, yeah, we gotta leave into the family, we gotta find someone for you to, and Chaz is like, well, where's your son at? Yeah. And then Crimson's like, you know what, yeah, I'll go find him. Like, it could have, yeah.
And this whole episode also just, like, we talked about this a little bit in the first part, this whole, like, letting Chaz into the family just because he's coming to money and, like, forcing Moxie to marry him and all of that really goes into the fact that all Crimson cares about is money. Fundamentally, he does not care about anything else above money.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible.
And again, parallels to Cash Buxo, which is just so fucking
upsetting.
Yeah.
And then Crimson at one point says, "You had responsibilities that I had to pick up once you left," to Moxie.
Yeah.
What were Moxie's mafia responsibilities?
I guess, like, standard stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
But also, this is like a guilt trip, so it could just be wrong. He could just be complete bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to just say
he probably just re-delegated the work to someone else, and that's what he's talking about. Because, like, why would the godfather of a mafia pick up the tasks that, even if it's his son, like, a lower-ranking person, he probably just was like, all right, you pointed out some random other mafia person, was like, you take my son's stupid jobs, and that's all he had to do. But yeah, it is interesting. I do wonder about, like, what kind of shit Moxie had to do in the mafia, and if that...
And how it shaped him.
And yeah.
This sweet little boy who doesn't want to do anything
Literally.
to hurt anyone ever.
Hard pivot.
You called him a friendless horse fucker and said we live a sissy lifestyle. Jesus Christ, the homophobia is what the first bullet point is here.
I think he's kind of based. No, sorry. The phrase friendless horse fucker. And so we lived a sissy lifestyle. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But then also, less funny, did Crimson abuse Moxie specifically for the gayness?
Yeah.
Because from this we know that Crimson knew about him and Chaz.
Yeah.
So that could also be why his thought was like, oh, Chaz is coming to some money, let me find my son.
Yeah.
You know, it might not have been Chaz's idea. But, yeah, it has Crimson's not the best #ally.
Yeah.
Even if he is maybe sort of trying to be, but again, for his own personal gain,
he's kind of funnily an ally in the later episodes, but I wouldn't say he's at all an ally well, he's not an ally ever.
No.
But, like, the way, I told you to watch him, not fuck him. And he's just so casual about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but then, like, any abuse that Crimson did direct at him, how did that shape Moxie's, like, his current relationship with his sexuality? Surely some ingrained bullshit going on from that.
And, like, he's bi, but we, like, I don't think we ever see him, other than, it's Stryker, sir. We don't really see him talk about men.
Yeah. Oh, we do when Millie says that she wonders what Veroska's like in bed, and Moxie brings up a male celebrity, I forget who, but...
No, I thought about that, but that's when Millie brings that up. Because he goes, Millie!
No, but then she goes, you would fuck so-and-so.
Yeah, and he goes, touche, but he doesn't bring it up.
He doesn't bring it up, that's true. But he does agree.
He does agree, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's interesting. And then also Blitz
calls Chaz a horseless friend fucker. Switches it around. Shows where his standards are.
Yeah.
A horseless friend fucker is the worst thing you can be.
Yeah. And he is a friend. Not a friend fucker, but...
A friend's ex-fucker. Yeah.
Yeah. And
wishes he was a friend fucker.
And he's horseless.
Get Blitz a horse, 2024.
Yeah. Literally, I think that would fix him. I think everything wrong with him would be fixed if he had a horse that was nice and he could just talk to.
Yeah, that's his therapy.
Yeah.
Better horse.
They have horse therapy.
Do they?
Like, that's
equine therapy, you're right, yeah.
Blitz, that would fix him.
Yeah.
Maybe the horseback riding lessons was actually just equine therapy.
Maybe it was. Wow, and Veroska took that away from him?
Yeah.
SMH. Anyway, Crimson starts guilt-tripping Moxie about ignoring his family, and Moxie literally, like, shrinks in his seat.
Yeah, he, like, literally goes down.
Yeah, goes down. Rawr.
Rawr.
Sorry.
We are talking about his abuse.
I'm sorry! Yeah, but then, when Crimson, is, like, insisting that they stay the night,
Do you want me to take this? I worded this weird. Or do you get it?
I get it.
Okay.
Crimson insists they stay the night, and Moxie just goes like, yes, sir. And Millie is like, what?
Yeah, Millie literally does the, like, what hand?
Yeah.
And then immediately right after she does that hand, Moxie just goes, yes, sir, and stands up.
Yeah.
And is like...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so chilling, again, that, like, vibe of Moxie just being, like, so blank-faced and so, like...
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Like,
yeah.
Ooh.
And Millie being like, Mox? And it's just, it's so sad. And especially because, like, she knows Moxie's not, like, a super confrontational person in general,
Mm-hmm.
but, so, like, it's not, like, she's expecting him to be like, no fucking way, but
Mm-hmm.
even she can see, like, this is different. She just doesn't know why, and it's so sad.
Next bullet point, Crimson and Moxie's little chat.
They have a lovely conversation. It's really emotionally healing for both of them.
Crimson summons Moxie with "come here,"
Yeah.
which
So, yeah, I think Moxie, like, starts talking, and then Crimson cuts him off. Is like, come here.
come here.
Which is fucking...
which like ooh.
already gross and
Honestly,
weird.
classic abusive parent move. That's all I'm gonna say.
Come here. Yeah.
Come here.
And then it's just to slap him.
Yeah, like hello.
He's not saying, like, come here, let me give you a hug and a lollipop.
Yeah,
He's saying,
come here.
Bam! And it's,
Yeah.
The first time watching this episode, I wish I could relive that experience
Yeah.
of watching this for the first time, and especially because it had, like, just dropped.
Mhm.
Because crazy
Yeah,
time.
Crazy. And he hits him so hard, he literally gets thrown back on the ground. So it's not just like a... Not that people should hit kids, but I feel like a lot of times when kids do get hit, or like grown kids get hit, it's usually like a backhand on the face. It's not even that, though. It's like it's a full body, like...
Yeah. And it leaves, like, the little animation mark comes up on his, like, the crosshatch thing on his cheek, which, like...
Which also comes up at the end of this, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard
pivot. This scene is really good at balancing the humor and the devastation. This
Yeah.
episode in general. But Crimson installing a bunch of fucking dildos to make it more to your kind's liking. Your kind for gay people. What does he think gay people do? What does he think they are?
Like, as a concept, fundamentally, what does he think gay people are?
They just dildo fuckers,
Yeah.
I guess.
This is the kind of shit gays like, right?
Yeah. And then also Blitz also reacts to them. So are they all around the entire house?
They're not in the hallway upstairs or in the room, so I'm thinking they're just the entire downstairs.
Okay.
Which is still so
Still
much.
insane.
This is a huge
It's
house.
It's a mafia house.
How much money did he spend? How long did this take?
Yeah.
Who was tasked with installing the dildos?
Yeah, no. And, like, Dash, do you think, like, it was, like months ago that Chaz approached him and was like, hey, I want to marry into the family, and Crimson was like, okay, sure, for sure, but first I gotta install a bunch of dicks in
And
the
that's
wall.
your job.
That's your job.
Depending on how well you install no, because they're installed well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Chaz.
It wasn't Chaz.
It's probably that little shark guy that's always hanging around.
Yeah. The guy who gets it up the ass at the wedding?
No, the guy who stands next to the really tall one.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Blitz loves the fucking dicks in the wall, which is...
Yeah.
I don't know anyone of any sexuality who would like this.
Ha! There's dicks in the wall!
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how many times has Moxie had the bisexual conversation with his dad? Because my personal theory, once Crimson found out about Moxie and Chaz, like back when they were dating, 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
3 times a day. Crimson is like, so you're gay, and Moxie's like, yeah, well I'm bi, and he's like, I don't understand.
He says, so you're an F-slur.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
We are saying,
Yeah, you said it.
I'm saying it. Crimson's like, so you're a faggot. And Moxie's like, I mean, yeah, but...
Halfway.
sort of, yeah. No, but just first of all, Dad, I'm bisexual. Yeah, gay. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like, they've had this conversation
They've
before.
had this talk. Yeah, it's so fucking funny to me.
Alright, now to the big stuff. First of all, the face grab transition here, in and out of the flashback, so fucking smooth.
Yeah.
Because it shows, like, how, like, Moxie's very clearly triggered by the face grab.
Yeah.
And then it gives us the entire flashback and then shows us the event that triggered the flashback. Like, why, like, they had their connect.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
This
like,
whole sequence.
Like, that writing choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incredible.
Now, Moxie's childhood.
Yeah. Baby Moxie has a little bow tie on his freaking shirt.
This is actually going to be a really nice childhood flashback.
Yeah. He had a great childhood. I don't know what the fuck he's always whining about.
Yeah. Anyway, poor baby deserves his steak to be cut up like he mommy did.
Yeah, like his mommy cut up his steak. This is a headcanon we have had for a while. Do we think that Moxie cooks steak for Millie and cuts it up for her?
Yeah.
And Millie's like, Mox, this is very sweet, but I can cut up my own steak. And he's just like, oh, I just wanted to do it for you. It's not a problem.
I do want to say that we came up with this headcanon, like, last year, about this time, actually.
About this time last year.
When I was on the way back from a work trip. That was like 3 hours away, so I was in the back of my supervisor's van, and we were texting about this. For like an hour. We were texting about this, and we were texting about what we think everyone's childhood birthday meal was.
Yes!
And so I feel like that needed to be said so you guys know how deranged we are.
Yeah. No, and that's how... We had the Stolas one was also... We had something really funny about Stolas' childhood birthday meal. I don't remember
what it was, but we did have the thing... It might have been this. I strongly believe that Blitz's birthday meal was Kraft mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Yes.
And I also strongly believe that Stolas says, make me some of your imp food, and he makes him that, and he's like, this is the best thing I've ever had.
I think also... I think for Stolas we just did, like, a little mouse kebab, like, we see him eat.
That was it.
So he, like, makes that for Blitz, and Blitz is like, oh, thank you. Yeah, but it is... We had Ken in this one because it's fucking cute and silly, but also, Moxie probably only knows how to take care of... Like, the only good, affectionate, loving person he's had in his life that we've seen is his mother. So it would make sense if the way he takes care of people is inspired by the way his mom took care of him.
Yeah. And, like, Moxie is a romantic, like, through and through. And he probably learned stuff from all his little romantic plays that he loves.
Yeah.
But he also, like, I think, like, you're right. I think he does learn how to care for people, like, in the way that his mom does. But also the way that his mom's framed here without having a face.
Yes.
And we're going to get into this in a little while. Kind of shows that, like, disconnection in memory. So it's like, how much caring does he actually remember her doing?
Yeah.
Like, obviously he knows that she cared, but, like, what exact things other than the steak does he remember?
He was very young in these flashbacks. And then the other side of that is we see Crimson displaying his power. He's no affection, just aggression. Like, pushing Moxie's mom's, his Crimson's wife, pushing her foot away under the table and slamming his foot down, and then we see, we'll get to that in a second, but just, you know, classic abuser aggression.
Yeah.
Wanting to have control and power in that dynamic.
Yeah. And we see her get, like, actually hit and stuff.
Yeah,
we will get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because before that, in the flashback sequence, we have the part where Moxie's learning shooting his gun. He's, like, 4.
He's so small.
Young, yeah. And Moxie's mom is, like, praising him. She gives him a little rub on the head.
Yeah.
For learning the new violent skill of shooting. But then as soon as Crimson tells him to shoot living things, she immediately is like, that's it, draws a line, takes the gun, shoves it into Crimson's chest, which I'm willing to bet she's never done anything aggressive to him before, at least not recently. And
grabs Moxie by the hand and, like, takes
pulls
him
away.
Off.
Yeah, which undermines Crimson's power. And I mean, fundamentally, that's the big part, is it undermines his power. But also steps out of the role that she's been put in.
Yeah.
And so I think that, honestly, is probably the reason why all of this happens. You can take it if you want, because you were going to talk about it the next one.
Yeah. Crimson hits Moxie's mom. We see Moxie is, like, hiding under the bed, which kind of implies that maybe this is a thing that has at least happened before, so he knows to, like, hide in this scenario, and so...
Or at a minimum that he's just used to violence and he knows to hide, which is true because he's in a mafia family, but I feel like kids usually, when they're this close to a parent, will, like, try to help.
Yeah.
Like, he would try to help his mom, but he just knows better.
So it might... This type of thing with Crimson and his mom is probably something that's happened before. Also, to backtrack a little bit, with, like, why Moxie's mom is okay with him, like, shooting. Like, not killing, but with shooting.
Yeah.
We said, like, maybe she's trying to, like, compromise with Crimson. Like, okay, fine, you can use a gun. But I think also, it could be a thing where Moxie, like, even though he's young here, like, he's probably seen people use guns at this point, and he, like... maybe doesn't want to kill a person, but, like, he's interested in the gun itself. Yeah. Because, like, even as an adult, like, he likes guns. He's good at guns. He's interested in them. So if his mom saw that interest and was like, yeah, okay, sure, you can do this.
It's also probably a way that he can get close to his dad, and probably, like, the only time his dad pays attention to him, and his mom probably recognizes that as well.
Yeah. I want to know how fucking Crimson and Moxie's mom got together.
Yeah.
How did he land her?
I don't know. And also, I do want to know more about them generally, because Moxie was born in Wrath.
Yeah.
So they presumably all lived in Wrath.
Yeah, and his mom is from Wrath.
Yeah.
Especially, like, her design. Like, her character design, she's from Wrath, for sure.
Crimson, like, he might have been from Greed.
He might have been from Greed. That would make sense.
It would make sense, but also it would make sense... Actually, I don't know if maybe he was, like, an associate of the Mafia in Wrath, and then he moved up.
Yeah.
Or what, but it would also make sense that if when he moved up, they moved to Greed. Or when he got into the Mafia, they moved to Greed, but that seems a little less likely.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it I do wonder, because also, like, what if Moxie's mom was a single parent with Moxie and Wrath, and then met Crimson, who can be charming?
Yeah, Moxie looks so much like Crimson, that was the only thing.
That's true.
I feel like he has to be Crimson's son. I was gonna say the same thing, but then I was like, oh wait, but he's designed to look so much like Crimson.
Well, regardless, Crimson can be charming, so it could have been one of those things where it's like, she really didn't know what she was getting into.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we see at the end of, like, the part where Crimson, like, hits Moxie's mom, Crimson, like, shoves her through a door, either, like, out of the room, and maybe that's, like, she's being handed off to, like, whoever's supposed to kill her. Like, maybe this is literally just, like, the last time that she leaves the room and then immediately gets taken to be killed. Or is he shoving her, like, into a closet? Like,
yeah, the thing is, I can't really tell if it's, like, out of the room or not. That's why I put that.
Yeah. I mean, either way.
Yeah.
Fucked up shit.
I think it would make sense to be, like, Crimson having, like, the last... Because we don't, like, hear them bickering or anything, but it would make sense. And also, would Moxie remember the words said and stuff? Because this is Moxie's memory.
Yeah.
So it would make sense if he's, like, kind of saying, like, this is why, and hitting her and then handing her off.
Yeah.
And having someone else do the dirty work.
Especially because the very next scene, they're at the dinner table and she's not there.
Yeah.
So, like,
it would make sense. Like, this is the last time Moxie ever saw his mom.
Yeah. God. Definitely did not grow up with a healthy relationship model. Probably was/is very deeply afraid of any intimacy. I mean, the only thing he's seen is his mom and his dad.
Yeah.
Which also, again, makes sense why Chaz, he wouldn't know better than that. Not that it's his fault, but it's...
And honestly, Chaz probably seems nicer of a partner than his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with, like, men. Like, he probably, like, if, like, when looking for... well, actually, he loves Billy's, like, aggressiveness, but, I think when looking for, like, I wouldn't be surprised when looking for, like, a female partner, he does, like, expect a little more gentleness, but when looking for a male partner, like, and that's especially interesting because he's a guy.
Yeah.
Does he just assume that's how men are in relationships?
Yeah. LOL. Sorry, this one's such a doozy.
Yeah. We were talking about no mom at the dinner table. And then Crimson blows the smoke of his cigar in Moxie's face.
Yeah.
I know that he's, like, done way worse in this episode, but this makes me so not irrationally, rationally fucking angry.
Yeah, no. Because, I mean, one, he's not helping him cut his fucking steak.
Yeah.
The nerve. And then he just blows the smoke in his face.
Yeah.
Great transition.
Wonderful fucking
for
transition.
animation, yeah.
Gotta say that, though. Oh, the boat.
Oh, the boat.
That's the next note.
The next bullet point. Yeah, so there's a lot of, conversation online about whether or not the person in the boat is Moxie's mom or not. We've long since deduced that it's not, and a lot of people have deduced the same. It's just the tail is different, like, notably different in the animation.
Yeah, she has a little heart tail kind of thing going on, and it's...
this person's is striped, I think.
Yeah.
Which is also not.
But also the end shape.
Yeah.
Even, like, I feel like that's the biggest feature of the tail, is different. Yeah. And then also her tail's, like, pinkish reddish, right? Mm-hmm. And this tail's, like, pale color.
Yellowy, peachy, yeah. The horns are cut off, which doesn't necessarily contribute to this. They could have been done, so that the person couldn't be identified, like, same as shaving a human's head.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, given that we know Horn's relations to hearing somewhat. We don't know for sure.
To hearing?
Well, just because, I'm not 100% that this is a thing, but the character in... Is it Oops? No, it's Mammon's. That's deaf.
Oh.
Has very, very short...
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
They're also a child, though.
They are a child, but, I mean, Blitz and Fizz as children have long horns. That could be unrelated. I just assumed it was related because later that's like Fizz's whole thing is he pulls off his thing, and but Fizz is presumably hearing.
Yes.
So, yeah, but he also wears garments that could have hearing aid abilities. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really want to do a deep dive on the disability rep with Fizz, but that is not this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not Moxie's mom. She's probably already or she is already dead at this point. But it is vague enough, and, like, we only see his mom's face in pictures, not in these flashbacks.
Yeah, like, so he doesn't remember
Moxie
her face.
doesn't remember her face, so in this scene, he might not know if it was his mom, or not that he's killing. Unless, like, if she's been dead for, like, you know, if he hasn't seen her out in, like, a week or two, like, you know, he probably just assumes she's already gone at this point, but, like, depending on how quickly these things happened, he might genuinely not know.
And also, he's a little kid, like, he might not remember the time frame.
Yeah.
He just might remember these two things happening.
Yeah.
And then also, it's not unlike a mafia to torture people before they kill them. That's why also the thing is, like, oh, if the horns are similar to ears, maybe they just cut them off for torture purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Moxie he's so fucking young here. Like, he looks at the box that the person's tail is, like, tied around, and he, like, doesn't understand, but then he realizes it's connected to this person who's, like, struggling and, like, tied up and gagged, and, like, he just, like, backs away from it, and he realizes, like, maybe, I don't know how fully he realizes it, but he's like, oh, this is...
related to this person.
This is related, yeah.
And then also this person, like, feels the box move, I think, and starts, like, squirming. Like, he wasn't doing that before, or they weren't doing that before, and starts doing it, and that's kind of when Moxie, like, looks at them, like, this person is actively being, like, help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Crimson slams Moxie's face into the box, and Moxie has to, like, make this choice between his own safety and the life of this other person, and he chooses to kill this stranger, but...
Which, talk about a fucking foundational moment.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Survivor's guilt?
Well, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Core memory?
Yeah, no, it's not important. It's not important. Okay. Official term for, for something that is foundational to you as a person.
Sure.
But not important. That's
yeah. Yeah, but he, God, just 5 years old, pushes someone into the ocean.
And the thing here, too, is that he looks younger than both Blitz and Stolas did in their flashback, so he's little.
He's little, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, like, thinking about that, too, like, because he doesn't, like, he does enjoy killing sometimes, but he really struggles with murder family.
Yeah. For obvious reasons.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, but also I feel like he does struggle with killing sometimes otherwise as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a shot-heavy person.
Yeah, I think he's okay with killing when, like, someone's posing a threat to him or if it's just a bad person.
Yeah.
I think if someone's not posing an immediate threat, or even if they are, but they're, like, innocent, supposedly, like, then he has issue with it.
Yeah. And I wonder,
Fair enough.
I also wonder how he feels. Like, does he feel like he is a killer, like, fundamentally?
Yeah.
Probably.
And
then we get into the whole thing like, that Blitz has, too, of, like, I am bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Formative moment. That's what it is. I wrote it down.
How long have we been recording for, just out of curiosity?
A little over an hour, I think, yes.
Okay.
We can probably get through this.
Sorry.
His mom's shoe is thrown into the water, so that's another reason why people thought it was her.
It's not thrown in, it pops up.
Yes, but it's, like, in the bag, right?
No. I don't know. Maybe.
How I read the scene is that he dumps the bag in and some stuff, like, goes under first, and then a few things pop up. So that...
Let me look. I don't remember.
Yeah, that makes me think that it was in the bag, just because he dumps it, like, down. He doesn't dump it, like, up so it would float.
Yeah.
But yeah, while you're looking at that so we can get that confirmation, but either way, the mom's shoe is in the water showing that she is killed because it's with all of these other items that people used, including playing cards fall out of the bag that are torn at the corners.
Yes. And where else have we seen those but in Blitz's office, and they seem to be burned on the edges.
Yeah.
Like, from the circus fire. So what the fuck is going on here? Yeah.
To be fair, these kind of look like they have, like, maybe the part that the person held ripped out of them or something. Mm-hmm. Because it honestly a little bit looks like bite marks. And it does not look like fire marks.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that it's in both cases.
Mm-hmm. God, this whole sequence is animated so well.
Yeah, it is.
The transition from moment to moment. Sorry, I'm just going through. He's trying to cut his steak. His dad says no. His dad blows the smoke in his face like a fucking dickwad. And they're on the boat.
Actually, while you're
go ahead.
Getting that, our next note is actually the animation is so good.
Oh, yeah.
It has very minimal words, has everything you need to know about Moxie's childhood and how it affects him. The writing is amazing, the plotting is amazing, the animation itself is amazing. Like, it's one of those scenes in the show, or sequences, that it's like, holy shit, they did it. This is good.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
That they dump the bag and then it's one of the things that pops out.
Cool.
I forgot there was a bag involved, to be honest.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the playing cards while I'm here, just to see if they look burnt / scorched.
They look bitten. They look chewed.
Also, there's a little bow tie on Moxie's life vest, which is so funny.
Cute. Also, the fact that Crimson put a life vest on Moxie is interesting.
Like, okay.
Like, it makes sense. He's, like, a child, and, like, that is the law, but also he doesn't care about the law. But, like, it's interesting.
I can't tell.
I guess they do look a little scorched.
They look kind of scorched.
They look a little inky, almost.
Yeah.
And there's a few things with, like, that green gunk on it.
Yeah.
See, that one, that's the one I'm thinking of. That looks bitten.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah. So we don't really know what the playing cards are, but it is an interesting thing. It's just weird that it's in both of those. Mm-hmm. Also, it would be interesting to, not that we should do this right now, maybe this is a newsletter item, but if we should cross-reference the cards themselves. Because I think Splits might have an Ace of Hearts on his wall.
Yeah, I think he does. I just realized in this shot, when, like, we're seeing the things in the ocean, Moxie and Crimson are all the way back here, and the shoe pops up over here. So Moxie doesn't even see it.
Oh.
I never noticed that. The way that they're, like, off in the distance. So we, the audience, see it. Moxie doesn't.
So Moxie very well might think it's his...
He might think it's his mom.
Yeah.
And he also, like, he definitely... especially as he gets older, like, pieces together, like, yeah, my dad killed my mom, basically, but he doesn't necessarily know for sure exactly how it happened. He doesn't really have that closure. And
which is horrible.
Fucked. So that's interesting. I hope when we realize things
on the podcast. Anyway,
Yeah.
next is after the flashback. So Crimson threatens to kill Moxie and Millie, and Moxie just responds, "Yes, sir."
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Like,
fucking not so. It's so chilling.
Yeah.
But then Moxie leaves and there's just the dicks bouncing on the wall and Crimson sitting there.
Crimson's isn't sitting like fuming and just.
Yeah.
And we already talked a little bit about how it has good comedic timing, but it really, like, this scene specifically, really does like pace it well.
Yeah, the first like half of this episode that we've gotten through at this point, like, it's still it never stops being like sad and like it's a pretty dark and serious episode, but the first. This whole chunk that we've just gone through is, like, the darkest, and they do a really good job of balancing it out with things. Even, like, the Chaz song, which we're getting to, like, fucking hate that guy, but, you know, like, that, it's still, there are undertones of, like, dark and bad things in that scene, but it's also, like, this moment of levity with, like, a stupid little song, you know?
Yeah.
It's really good at that, those little moments.
And then Moxie's conversation with Millie. You can take this, just that you are crazy about this part.
Yeah, it's just Moxie is so dissociating at this point, trying to hold himself together. There's, like, nothing behind his eyes, and he's just talking very, like, don't worry, sweetie, like, so monotone.
Yeah.
Just, like,
and he's not looking at her either.
He's not looking at her. She's, like, trying to look at him, and he's not meeting her eyes. And not in the typical, like, autism way.
Yeah.
Like, he's
actively, he's gone.
Yeah. And we're partners, Mox.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
And you kind of see him come back for a minute, like, and then he takes a deep breath, and then he keeps talking.
He's just, he feels that he just has to go along with this.
Yeah.
Which is so sad.
He also kisses Millie's hand in the same way that Crimson kisses her hand in the beginning, which I don't think we ever see him do.
No.
Like, we never see him grab her hand and kiss it.
I think it might be more of, like, a distancing himself from her more kind of way, rather than kissing her. Do they kiss on the lips at the end of this, or no? They don't.
I think they do.
They do?
They do.
Okay.
I think it is a distancing thing, but I think also just... There's a lot of things that he could do to distance, but to pick this exact one, like, animation-wise, and have Crimson do it at the beginning is very interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. Then...
the Chaz room.
The Chaz room. The wallpaper is Chaz's teeth, which, LOL, we literally see them hung up on the wall later when he's killed by Crimson.
Yeah.
Really cool foreshadowing.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's the exact print, too. It's, like, the exact shape.
Yeah. Shit ton of pictures of him around the room. The shark wants to fuck himself so fucking badly. And then... Fucking why?
This was a vocal stim for so long. We talked about it last episode.
This was a joint vocal stim that we just bounced back and forth.
Yeah.
Just
in, like, public.
In public. Anywhere. All over this goddamn campus. Fucking why? Fucking why? It's great line delivery on Richard Horvitz's part.
I love Richard Horvitz.
Yeah. But Moxie says, fucking why, and then splashes water on his face to, like, bring himself back.
Yeah.
Which is even more indicative that he's just been dissociating, just trying to get through this.
And he's trying to bring himself back to reality, probably so he can think through it and, like, get a plan.
Yeah.
But that's immediately foiled.
By fucking face Chaz.
He goes to, like, shut off the light, I think, and fucking Chaz pops up, which is horrible.
No, he flicks a switch and Chaz pops up out of the ground. Like,
but imagine he's trying to shut off the light to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, he's just winding down, and then his fucking abuser pops up. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. One of his fucking abusers.
One of his fucking abusers.
Yeah. Chaz is so fucking nasty. Yeah.
So... Moxie, throughout I didn't write a lot of notes about the song because I personally really fucking don't like this song. It makes me so annoyed.
No, it's so annoying. It's,
And, like, it's, like, good for character-wise, but it's just one of those songs that I'm like, okay, that happened, and I always skip it when I rewatch.
Yeah.
But, so if you have anything on the song, I'm just letting you know I did not take notes on it.
Yeah.
But throughout, like, before the song...
During the song,
Moxie consistently is saying no. And in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like, he flat out says no... Then he says, like, can you leave me alone? And, like...
He's, like, trying to physically get away from him.
Yeah.
He's like, you're gross.
Yeah, at some point turns around and, like, covers his eyes.
Yeah. And Chaz just keeps fucking going.
Yeah.
This is, like, what we're talking about with the, like... This is straight up harassment.
Yeah, this is straight up harassment. This is not honoring consent.
No.
It makes me wonder, is this how it went when they were dating?
Mm-hmm.
If Moxie felt comfortable saying any form of no to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably more of a, like, if he was saying no, it turned into, like, a, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know, which is...
And also, I feel like Moxie had probably never once given enthusiastic consent.
Yeah.
And that also makes me think, like, when he got with Millie, and Millie was, like, kept trying to get enthusiastic consent, and then she, like, asks him straight out, and he's like, yeah. What do you mean I have to say yes? Like,
no, yeah. She's like, hey, you want to, like, try it up the butt this time? And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. And she's like, is that a yes? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, or she's like, okay, but is that a yes?
Is it a fuck yes? Because if it's not a fuck yes,
it's a fuck no. Yeah.
And he goes, what?
Yeah, and then eventually they do try it up the butt and he likes it, as we know, canonically. Yeah.
You just love talking about how this guy gets pegged.
It's really important.
Have you told the podcast how you reacted to him getting pegged?
I hit my head on the ground. Not on purpose.
In excitement.
In excitement. I, like, laid down on the ground and I like, bonked my head on the ground because I was so excited.
That he gets pegged.
I was like, wow, good for him.
Yeah.
Just watching Truth Seekers for the first time.
His song's stupid is what I say.
Yeah.
But the lights are bisexual.
It is bisexual lighting. Also, to be clear, I also think it's a stupid song, but I think it's supposed to be.
I agree.
And that's why I think it's done well.
Yeah, what I was trying to say, so for context for listeners, I rewatched the episode while I was taking notes, and then took, like, the notes that we had already.
Yeah.
I did not rewatch the song.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything super important in it that we haven't already said.
Yeah, I think it is supposed to be stupid, and I think it does a really good job at doing that, and it does a really good job at making me really annoyed with Chaz.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I don't understand why people like Chaz. Like, people
like him, and people want to fuck him.
People want to fuck him. And again, I think it goes back to the show not being self-aware of itself, that they're depicting sexual harassment.
People also want to fuck Val, though, so...
Yeah, no, that's true. And Crimson. Yeah.
You understand Stryker, though.
I understand. Stryker is not a sexual abuser or an abuser at all. Let's be clear.
Yeah. I shouldn't have connected them. I'm just thinking of, like, the antagonist.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. But I feel like people are like, oh, Stryker's like, they're like, these are villains and they're sexy, but like they're sexual. Okay, do what you want.
People also really want to fuck Stella.
Yeah. Again. Okay. Do what you want.
Yeah.
They're not real, so I guess you can't do anything about it, so, you know.
So it's not super important, but it's...
Yeah, who gives a shit? But also, I just don't understand the appeal.
Yeah.
Like, morals and ethics aside, like, fine, they're fictional characters. If you're attracted to them, that's whatever. Whatever. But they suck.
Yeah, I would hope your attraction is different in real life, is all I'm saying.
Yes. But fiction is not reality and all that.
Also, there are barrels of lube. How much... With pumps. How much sex does this guy think they're about to have?
I don't know. Yeah.
There's 4 barrels, by the way.
4
barrels.
4 barrels.
And when I say barrels, I mean they're the height of the bed or taller.
Yeah.
Of lube.
99 barrels of lube on the wall. Yeah. He also fucking grabs Moxie's fucking bow tie. Why did I just get a text from Easy Pass? Sorry.
I forgot that I wrote after the bow tie thing, he is the worst fucking being.
He is. Sorry, I don't have Easy Pass. I don't drive. I don't know why I got a text from Easy Pass.
That's concerning.
That's probably spam. Anyway, Moxie doesn't completely throw Chaz out of the room until Chaz takes his fucking pants off, and then Moxie's like, motherfucker. And we just see cut to Chaz being thrown into the hallway, Moxie slamming the door.
Chaz with all his clothes in his hands, too, so it's not like Moxie, like, physically grabbed him or anything, or maybe he did and grabbed his clothes, but he's very much, like, about to do the walk of shame stance. And so it's interesting. But, yeah, Moxie's very non-confrontational, which we talked about. So this isn't something that's, like, actually physically throwing Chaz out is not something he's doing lightly.
Yeah, it's a big deal. He's probably very cautious about, like, saying no, fighting back, any consequences that come from that, if not from Chaz, then from his dad, like, fighting back to his dad.
But I would be willing to bet Chaz in an extremely similar situation. But also his dad, like, at a minimum, he's terrified of doing that. And he immediately starts crying. Like, the door shuts, and he slides down it and just immediately starts crying. Which, by the way, his little whimper, his little, like, animalistic whimper.
It's so sad.
It's
like a little puppy dog.
Yeah, and like it makes sense for Moxie like that. Of course he cries like that. But it's like it's so gut wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first watched this, I was like, like oh my god.
Like it's so fucking sad. He's probably so scared.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, like he's so like is he scared because this has happened before?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this, like, immediately throwing him right back to situations with Chaz that he's been in where consent wasn't involved?
Yeah.
And, yeah, just what is this bringing up? What is he thrown back to?
Yeah. And it also raises questions of if anything similar happened with Chaz and Millie.
Yeah.
Which, again, I want to know more about what happened with them.
I would not be surprised, especially where the fact that, not that, like, women are the only ones that get abused, that's not what I'm saying, but, like, I feel like a lot of times women tend to go with stuff. But it's more just because societally, like, that's more expected. But also queer men, that is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I think Moxie and Millie are sort of, like almost reverse gender roles.
Yeah.
In a lot of, like, you know, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She did fucking hate his ass, like, before finding out that he was shitty to Moxie also.
Yeah.
So he definitely sucked. It's just, how far did that go?
I'm also thinking if, like we talked about earlier, the stuff about, like, calling her crazy and making her think she's too much and all of that, and then kind of that coaching.
Yeah.
Translating into, like, okay, well, I can't say no or I can't speak up because having an opinion is too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, listeners, this is a huge episode.
Yeah, this is a doozy. We'll put a content warning at the start of I mean, you've seen it already, if we've put that there.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in, I'll put it in the description. I might also put a verbal one. I'll decide when we get to it.
Yeah, this one's just a doozy. This is a lot of themes and topics that we've, like, mentioned in a lot of episodes before, but it's very much prevalent in this episode. So
yeah,
we'll put
and also I know
warning.
a lot of you are, like, under 13.
Yes.
Not a lot of you, but some of you that comment are under 13.
Yeah.
So we will put a content warning. Also, probably we'll put a content warning for Oops and Mim on as well. Because it's going to be the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chaz room.
The Chaz room done. Moving on to the other rooms of the house. Millie is literally just pacing in circles because she doesn't know what to do, which is so fucking sad. She, as soon as Chaz comes to the door and he's like, "Ow, whoa," she just holds a fucking knife to his throat.
Pushes him out of the room, a knife to throat.
Knife to throat. She's ready to kill him.
Yeah.
She should have. It would fix all of their problems.
Yeah, the whole ending of this episode wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Chaz, oh yeah, very big difference between her and Moxie.
Yeah, it's, like, very much, like, this scene is there for that reason.
Yeah.
To show the stark difference.
Yeah. Also, Chaz saying this usually works.
This usually works.
Yeah. What? Singing a really bad song that he doesn't even know the words to, that he probably wrote himself, and, like, bringing barrels of lube. This usually works?
Yeah.
Chaz, your
and
game?
Who does this work with?
Yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah, how many people does he do this to?
At best, it's like, this works?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if people are, like, consenting enthusiastically, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, like, their standards are 6 feet under.
Yeah, God. But I really like the fourth wall break that happens here where Chaz, like, is about to go to Blitz's room and he turns to the camera and raises his eyebrow at the audience. And
and it goes, geek, 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 it goes squeak, squeak.
Yeah, it's, I think the only other fourth wall break in this show is, in Spring Broken.
Yeah.
With
the freaks up there.
We know a freaks up there would do it at you or whatever, and then they all look at the camera. I love a good fourth wall break.
We got our friend with that, because we watched the first few episodes with friends, and we got one of our friends with that.
Yeah.
Because he was like, what?
Yeah. No, because we had watched, like, the first few episodes, and the whole time he was like, humana.
Luna.
And then that happened, he was like, oh. Yeah. And now, Blitz sleeping with Chaz, which, okay, we do see, we were just saying, like, even if people are consenting enthusiastically, Blitz does.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, his standards are 6 feet under.
Yeah. His standards are, like, This is a crazy sentence. You know how in Minecraft, when you dig a hole deep enough, you just fall through the sky?
Yes. Like in creative mode when you dig through bedrock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His standards are like going through that like 4 times.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. This is the first person we've seen Blitz have sex with since being with Stolas. Like, the only person we know him to have fucked other than Stolas, essentially. And we, like, until now, like, him and Stolas haven't been exclusive or anything. Like, that's not what they are. But we haven't known him to have sex with anyone well with Stolas, you know? And I can't imagine Stolas, other than, like, Stella. But no, not even that, because he finally was like, we're getting divorced after him and Blitz fucked for the first time. So, yeah.
And we've talked a bit. Is Stella consensual?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. So, yeah, even then, it's yeah. But yeah, he, earlier when we first find out, like, Millie and Moxie both dated Chaz, Blitz is like, motherfucker, there's someone who slept with both of you!
Yeah.
So you just know he was fucking waiting. I mean, he says, like, I was wondering when you'd come to make a pass. He was fucking waiting for this.
Does that mean you're down to clown? 1, horrible pickup line.
Yeah.
2, to his face, to the clown.
To the clown! Imagine Chaz knew.
Yeah. Also the way that Blitz was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, he was probably so offended.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Down to clown? No, absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. I will fuck you, but we will not be clowning.
Yeah. But he also, Blitz immediately agrees when Chaz is like, I'll show you what Millie and Moxie were into, and Blitz is like, Deal, fucking done, you got it. And then they have possibly the world's worst sex.
Yeah.
The world's worst consensual sex, not that non-consensual sex is, you know what I mean. The world's worst sex.
Yeah.
I lost my words.
Real. Fucking... So first of all, poor fucking Moxie, hearing all of this.
Oh, yeah.
But then, regarding the bad sex, Blitz goes, chill the fuck out! And we know that, not saying that BDSM is inherently extremely rough sex, but it's part of it.
That's part of it.
And we know that Blitz and Stolas are kinky and BDSM as fuck.
Yeah. Although Blitz is likely topping in those situations.
That's true.
So that's
There's some stuff that makes me think they might be switching.
Yeah.
But, probably mostly topping, yes. And so...
Sorry.
What?
So dumb. Me when I get ice cream, but it's mostly, sprinkles, mostly topping. Sorry.
Bro's head is on Sunday at dining hall tomorrow.
Sprinkle Maxer.
Sprinkle Maxer.
Sorry.
But he says, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
1, meaning that this is too rough for Blitz.
Yeah, that's gotta be saying something.
2, he is probably bottoming.
Yeah.
At this current moment.
Yeah.
3, I hope he's probably getting hurt, because I don't see Blitz saying anything otherwise.
Yeah.
Just not ideal.
It's not good.
Yeah. I think the rest of this is the things I wanted to say are later, so.
Moxie's phone?
Nope, not quite. I'm reading this note. Hold on.
Go for it.
Oh, fucking Chaz allows Blitz to get him into a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
Which could have been the intention all along, or might just be what he's telling himself is the intention all along, but he really just wants to fuck this guy. And if so, it shows how, like, smart and resourceful he is, which is something we've talked about. Like, that fundamentally Blitz as a character.
Yes.
Like, his entire thing is that he's resourceful. And he gets shit done.
Yeah.
And so that also would make sense. So maybe it's not as shitty of a decision, but it is still pretty shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moxie's phone.
Yes. Moxie's phone, this is just some quick fire stuff for the most part. He has a musical theater phone case, like the nerd that he is. His friends list on Hell Facebook, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
It's not even Instagram, it's Facebook for
It's
Hell.
Hell Facebook. I don't remember what it's called, if it has a name, but his friend list is Millie, Blitz, and then some bitches named Randall, Oliver, and Steve. no fucking clue who they are. Oliver's a transgender-ass name.
Are Oliver and Steve Monsters University characters by any chance?
No.
That would be wonderful. But they're not. Because Randall.
Oh, Randall. Oh.
Yeah.
Or Monsters, Inc., but no, they're not. Blitz has a horse as his profile picture, obviously. Moxie has a... Oh my god. The laptop's dying.
Keep talking, I get the charger.
Let me make sure it's still recording, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just got so close to the mic. But Moxie has a post about being the understudy for Randall in some theater production. So these, I would assume, like, Randall is definitely, like, a theater friend. Probably Oliver and Steve might be also. Doesn't really matter. Who cares? He has other friends. That's fine. But most of his Facebook posts are of him and Millie. And
notably their wedding day, too.
Their wedding day, them, like, in bed, cuddling. It's so fucking cute. But then, we see, like, Moxie looking through these pictures, and he's, like, crying, but then it's just, like, shifting so naturally to anger. And it's a really good... Again, same with the, like, the childhood flashback scene. There's, like, no dialogue here. Yeah. And it's just all conveyed through the animation. And it's done really fucking well. It's really good. Especially because of, like, how much of a hard turnaround it is for being, like, yes, sir, and, like, you know, like, don't worry, Millie. Like, it's such a hard pivot that he makes to the next day, being like, I'm not doing it. But this little scene here does a really good job of transitioning between those two things. It really does. And also, it's very clearly, like, I'm having a breakdown about it, and then immediately he, like, thinks about it, and he's like, fuck, no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm gonna kill this bitch. Yeah. Like, it's great. Yeah. He's also, I love that he's motivated by his love for Millie to stand up to his dad. Like, he looks at the picture of them at their wedding, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stand up to my dad. And it's very, out for love core from Has-Been. I think that's a theme that Vivzy likes, because the whole, like, the theme of, you know, sometimes violence comes from a place of love, or, like, asserting yourself as comes from a place of love. You have to love someone to be willing to truly stand up to what you hate, you know? Yeah. I think it's a really interesting theme. Also, I think, hold on, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I think this kind of complicates the thing that a lot of the fan base and we talk about a lot, with Millie being, like, solely there and doing things for Moxie. Well, not solely, but, like, you know, that thing. Yeah. That women characters tend to be. Yeah. And so, but this is interesting because Moxie's doing the same thing here. He's not, like, he's doing this whole thing for Millie. So it is a little two-sided. I don't think it justifies the way that Millie's written by any means, but it is interesting. Yeah, it is. It is interesting, for sure. They are very much, like, this is a weird connection, but in Fantasy High, the D&D series... Don't spoil. No spoilers. There are two characters. They're Gorgug's adopted parents. They're two little gnomes named Wilma and Digby. And when they're like, whenever they're, like, making an appearance in an episode, their, like, character information will come up on screen, like a little animation. And all of the characters have, like, their pronouns on their little character thing, but for Wilma and Digby, it just says they, them. Because they're just a unit. Like, they're always together. That's wonderful. Like, there are other couples where it'll be, like, this one uses she, her, this one uses he, they, or whatever, but, like, Wilma and Digby, it's just they, them. And that's so fucking cute to me, and that's kind of Millie and Moxie to me. Yeah, it definitely doesn't justify it, because, like, Moxie still gets a lot more than Millie does in the show, but it is interesting. I keep seeing this one, fan art on Pinterest, of all places. I find, fun fact, y'all, if you're looking for good Helluva Boss fan art, there is so much on Pinterest for some reason. But anyway, it's this one where it's, like, Moxie being like, hey, Millie, can I talk to you about something? Or I something about, like, using the word, like, I have something to tell you, and it's like, and then she says, there's no I in this relationship, Mox, there's only we, and then he says, okay, we are bisexual. And it's true. And it's true, so I feel like the they-them unit does make sense. It does. Yeah. Moving on to Blitz and Chaz a little bit. We already started talking about them a little bit, but more of what we see from like the aftermath of their sex. Chaz is taking up the majority of the bed and hogging the whole blanket. Makes sense, that tracks. And then muttering like, "I've got a big dick" in his sleep. He is the worst person ever.
Yeah, he really is. I think it's funny. Blitz hates his ass.
Yeah.
Like, very clearly, vocally says he hates his ass.
Yeah.
But still puts on his coat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the after sex thing.
Yeah.
But also, does he just really like his coat?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
And I think he steals his coat, because I think he leaves with it.
I think
Not that he needs it, because he gets killed.
Yeah.
But when they go back to IMP, he is in horse boxers, which he's wearing right now in this moment. And Chaz's coat.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Fucking hilarious. Also, there are no less than 2 opened condoms on the floor. Maybe they were switching. Maybe one of them just broke. Either way, the implication that Chaz practices safe sex
is so surprising.
So surprising. I can excuse not having consent, but I draw the line at not using a condom.
Because we know Blitz did not have those condoms in his wallet or something. That was not.
I mean,
actually, maybe. I feel like we see condoms in his car.
Yeah, we do.
But for him to have more than one condom just on him at a business deal?
I mean, depending how the business deal goes.
That's true, but for Chaz to have a shit ton of condoms when he's actively pursuing all 3 of them.
That's true, and he has a lot of lube, so I think either way is possible.
But the fact that Chaz wore a condom...
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah. And it's interesting if Blitz, like, went into this sexual encounter thinking, like, I gotta get some information about this guy, like, he's not what he seems like, or did he just genuinely want to fuck Chaz because Millie and Moxie did, and then after the sex, he's like, no way someone who's that bad in bed can score 2 hotties that easily, and he's like, okay, what's this guy hiding? I want to know if he had that thought prior to the sex or not.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think... maybe it's a mix. Like, I think most likely it's probably a mix. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was an afterthought.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking hate this guy. Okay, let's fuck his shit up.
Yeah.
And he believes him that he came into a bunch of money. He believes that he can be in this mafia family. He does not believe that he landed 2 hotties by having bad sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where he draws the line, and that's hilarious.
He's been wanting to fuck Millie and Moxie since day one. Like, yeah. Then in the dining room again, but the next day, Crimson makes Moxie sit in the same seat he did as a child, which is so fucked up.
It is so fucked up.
Like, Chaz goes to sit there, and Crimson is like, no, you sit over there, and, like, just makes Moxie sit there when he walks in.
And it is possible that this is, like, the highest honored seat or something of that sort, because Crimson doesn't let Chaz sit there, and he's offended. He's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But that also could just be him being like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But also Chaz looking up to Crimson as like a fatherly figure, I feel like wouldn't be that far-fetched either. So getting kicked out of like the sun spot also could be a thing.
Yeah.
But either way, making him sit in that same seat is fucked up.
So fucked. But then Moxie fucking stands up to his dad's stinky ass. Crimson is, like, trying to intimidate him out of it, but Moxie, like, slams his fist on the table. Like, what does Crimson say? Like, I couldn't hear you over the sound of you being a whiny bitch. Then Moxie slams his fist down. I was like, I'm not doing it,
Yeah, well,
sir.
he says, I'm not doing it, and then he says, what? I couldn't hear you, and then he says, I said, I'm not doing it.
Like, okay.
And then the way that, like, because Chaz, first of all, was, like, really shocked. She's like,
yeah.
And then Crimson isn't even just, like, looking at him. Like, for a moment, he, like, flinches back.
Yeah.
At the table thing. He's like,
what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, it's a great little monologue that Moxie delivers. He does still call his dad sir.
Yeah.
Which, he still calls Blitz sir, so
I had the
that's
urge to do the monologue because I know it, because I did it for a voice acting audition.
My god. My god.
It's a really good voice acting monologue.
It's a great monologue. But he refers to Millie as the only good thing he's ever had and better than he deserves.
Not true.
It's not true. I mean, maybe the only good thing he's ever had, but no, it's...
But he deserves it.
He deserves
And he had his mommy.
He had his mommy, that's true. Yeah. And then he fully fucking threatens his dad.
Yeah.
He says, you'll see firsthand just how good I've got at my job, implying he's gonna fuck his shit up.
Yeah, we need that.
We need that.
Possibly full moon. No, not full moon, but the rest of season 2, right? Because didn't we see Crimson in the trailer?
I don't remember. Did we?
I think we did on that street.
I don't remember.
I thought I could be wrong. But
I can look at our notes from the trailer.
Yeah, I thought we saw Crimson on that street with like the weird robots.
With the weird robots.
I could be completely wrong though. That might have been something I just inferred that Crimson sent them or something, which is so me theory. So I don't know, but I hope he kills him.
I also hope he kills him. Here we go. I'll do a quick look. You keep going.
Okay. Also shows that he is using the same skills now that he was in the Mafia. Like, he doesn't fucking need his dad. He doesn't need the family. He is taking the skills that he learned and he's using them elsewhere. And also, if he kills him with a gun, he's going to kill him with the skill that he taught him. Huge. It needs to happen. And then nothing scares Moxie more than losing Millie. Not even his dad, and not even, like, his threats from his dad. And that's just, like... oh... Yeah. Like, that's so sweet.
I don't think I wrote anything about Crimson in my notes for the trailer, so I don't
So
think
he probably wasn't there. I probably I'm crazy. I'm just crazy like that.
Yeah. There was the...
I'm predicting that it's happening in season 2. At the end of season 2. No basis.
No basis, yeah. Yeah. Either that or he's gonna be an antagonist that stays throughout the whole series, I think.
Yeah,
Crimson.
probably.
I could see it going either way.
But I want him to get shot.
Yeah.
And then Moxie calls Chaz Herpes the Clown, which, first of all, the clowns. The clown themes. Why the clown themes in this episode? But also Herpes the Clown is really good. And not related to herpes, to be clear, but one of my ex's contacts in my phone after I watched this episode, I think you suggested, is Herpes the Clown.
Herpes the Clown.
And I think that's really funny, and I thought y'all would appreciate that.
I really love that Moxie's like, and Herpes the Clown over here, and Chaz is like, hey!
Yeah! Also, this is in the middle of the dramatic monologue.
Yeah.
He doesn't skip a beat. Herpes the Clown over here.
Yeah.
So wait, does that imply that he has herpes? So maybe using a condom is really good?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. The wedding.
The wedding.
Buckle up!
Buckle up! Buckle up!
Buckle up, buttercups.
Buckle up.
Alright, 20 minutes. Let's speed run.
Okay, 20 minutes to get through the rest of this episode. My god, we have so many more. Okay, Moxie is... Someone put him in this wedding dress.
Yeah, he's tased and he's unconscious.
He's been tased and unconscious. And, the next time we see him, he's in a wedding dress with duct tape over his mouth. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like... Someone put him in this dress. It's possibly that it's Crimson. It's possible that it's one of the associates. Mm-hmm. It's likely Chaz.
Yeah.
And that's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
For reasons that you can infer on your own.
Yeah. Also, putting Moxie in a dress is so homophobic. Like,
yeah.
Like, they're so, like, what's the word? Like, he's the girl in the relationship and, like, feminizing him, like, against his will, you know?
Yeah. And also the fact that it's, like, his dad is like, you need to have a wedding dress on, and he either needs to have a suit. He doesn't really have a suit, but he has, like, a suit shirt.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Of course he does.
So it's like it's like, we need to have this traditional wedding. Audie just waved his fart at me. I'm calling you out on the podcast because you're an asshole.
Yeah, but also, was this Moxie's mom's dress?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm not sure about. Moxie's a lot shorter than his mom, but it's possible that it was a short wedding dress.
Yeah.
So, just add the fucking cherry on top, because that is a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the daughter, which Moxie's not a daughter, unless he's trans, which that's a whole other topic.
Maybe it's transphobia.
But anyway, the, like, wearing the mom's dress makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a wedding tradition, I feel like, specifically, like, it's implied that this is an Italian mafia family.
Yeah.
I feel like Italian weddings are very, like, traditional. And so, do you want me to tell the podcast that you're farting?
The first one wasn't audible, but the second to, I just did her. So
But the thing is, I don't think the podcast can hear you. I was trying to just go with it, but you're looking me, staring into my eyes, and laughing while I'm trying to just go along with the podcast.
I didn't expect them to make sound, and then they both did, and I was like caught off guard.
You could have just not stared into my eyes, and it would have been fine.
Look, farts are okay. I don't know.
Farts are okay, but Jesus Christ, Audie. Okay.
Yeah. Also, it's the only time we see Moxie without a bow tie.
When he has clothes
on.
So that's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Chaz is such a little whiny bitch.
Yes.
He's such a piss baby.
Such a piss baby. Dildos fill the audience. One of the sharks is like, alright, as the dildo goes up his ass.
Like, because you can tell, like, because there's a shark next to him that's, like, much skinnier.
Yeah.
And he, like, scoots out of the way of it.
Yeah.
But then it very clearly just not only goes up his ass, but through his pants.
Yeah.
And then he just goes,
yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Moxie's eyes are shaking this entire time, and he's resisting, like, trying to get out, especially with the, like, not the I do's, because they don't say I do, but the, like, do you take this person kind of thing.
The
vows, yeah, he's, like, actively, not, like, he's just squirming the whole time, but when that happens, he's actively, like, trying to scream, like, yeah. I was gonna make the sound, but that would be weird.
Yeah. And Chaz's "oh yeah" is so.
I feel so sick every time I hear it. Like physically ill, because it's like, do you take him? And it's like, oh yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's so gross. I control you.
Yeah. And thank fucking God this guy is dead.
Yeah.
If there was a threat of him coming back in a later episode, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
For real.
And then there's cut to Millie and Blitz. I farted again.
That one was really loud. The podcast might have heard that one.
I gotta own up to it. Hang on, one more. Okay, we're good now. Sorry. I just could tell that there was still more in there. Anyway, Millie fully drops Blitz on the ground when she realizes that Moxie is in trouble. And then they get in the car, and Blitz puts on the radio, and it starts going Lululand, Lululand, and he just immediately changes that shit.
Yeah, because one, it's Fizz on the radio at this moment of all moments, and then Blitz takes the time to flip through the channels because he can't stand listening to Lululand, which is so funny.
Do you think anyone's edited the fight scene that's about to come and have it, like, if Blitz didn't change the radio, so it's Lululand?
I hope so. If not,
I got it.
Okay.
I'll do it. Yeah, but the song that does play is Crashing a Motherfucking Wedding. Fucking incredible.
Bangs.
Incredible. Oh yeah, also, we're doing a Shrek.
Yeah.
Is what Blitz says as they start driving away. This is some of the best fight choreo in the show, hands down. Like, at this point, I feel like it's the best.
I think so too. It 100% beats Truth Seekers, and I think that was our best at this point. Yeah,
Truth Seekers is great, like, because the little motifs that play in the music for each person's like moment, and
it's great character development, and it's a great like beginning early animator kind of situation. Not early animator, but like early projects. It's season 1. Yeah. But this is it's also the Truth Seekers one is all of the characters. Yeah. Whereas this one is basically just Millie, and Blitz is kind of helping. This is just a lot more cohesive, a lot quicker. Because like with the Truth Seekers one, it's great and it makes a lot of character development, but the color palette is very bland. There's no background, and it goes on a while. And it goes on for a really long time. This one, like, I feel like at the end I get a little annoyed with it, but I also am just not a fight scene person. Yeah. Like, I can't fucking watch a Marvel movie. I can't do it. Yeah. Yeah, but Blitz goes, I object, and then Millie kills fucking pretty much everyone there. Yeah. Crimson and Chaz are terrified of Millie, whereas Moxie is, like, the calmest he's been the entire time. He's just like he looks like he's, like, looking at her like, that's my wife. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Millie pulls someone's beating heart out of their chest with her teeth. Yeah, and as in her mouth beating. Yes. And bleeding. Yeah. The amount of people she kills with a dildo is insane. Yeah, because she, like, shoves one in someone's throat, she stabs someone with the back of one, she stabs one down Chaz's throat later. Yeah. She literally uses Blitz as a weapon. Like, she's able to pick him up and hurl him around as a weapon. Not even, like, she, like, uses him like a bat. Like, keeps him. Grabs him by the ankles and whips him. Also, the fact that Blitz is a really effective bat is hilarious. Yes.
Yeah, the priest goes, fuck this, I'm out. And then Moxie, like, smiles at Millie at the end when she like, approaches the altar, and she's like, what are you gonna do now, bitch?
Yeah, and Crimson literally goes, like...
Like,
yeah,
raise
like,
a hand, like,
yeah.
Fine, whatever, you proved you can...
I did it wrong, I did the gay one, it's up.
It's up, yeah.
It's up.
He's like, alright, fine, whatever. And then...
But he lets them go and admits defeat to Millie, which is huge.
Yeah, like, he knows... He wouldn't do that if he thought there was a chance, he had a chance against her.
Yeah.
Obviously, he fucking does not.
Yeah. Crimson's kind of a little piss baby.
He kind of is. But yeah, Millie picks up Moxie, and Blitz, and runs off with both of them. Again, so fucking strong. Similar to Blitz carrying Luna in Western Energy.
Yeah, how he just got his little hands.
Yeah.
The way that these characters can handle weight is so funny. It doesn't make any
so
sense.
I love animation.
Yeah, but yeah, the fact that she, like, picks up Moxie and then just runs, mid-run, picks up Blitz.
Yeah, she's so fucking... I kind of want her. What?
You want her to do that to you?
Yeah.
And then the This Ass Is Mine line.
This Ass Is Mine. Icky, we already talked about a little bit, but it feels out of character for
Yeah,
Millie.
like, Millie would never fucking say that.
Yeah, to be clear, this isn't a critique on Millie, the character, this is a critique on the writing of Millie in this moment. It's just, again, it's further unnecessary sexualization of Moxie, especially, like, the context of this episode is
it's always
gross.
it's always in the context of the episodes. Like, again, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but going back to Angel, like, the sexualization had to happen in that episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay.
Actually, also, I know I have to be quick, but another parallel I realized with Angel and Moxie in this episode is we first see Moxie sexualized in the drawing scene, and then we see him sexualized here, and then also in the song.
Yeah.
That's extremely similar to the Angel layout. Obviously, Angel's a lot worse and a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But we see that, like, that episode starts with them watching a tape of Angel. And then we have Poison.
Yeah.
And then we have the rest of the episode. So it's like, it's a plot, almost.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. But yeah. Moving on from that, unless, do you have anything else to say on it? Okay. Yeah. They fully steal the helicopter, and it has a "We're married, bitch," like a banner.
Yeah, because it said "just married." They crossed out "we're" and then they added "bitch."
When the fuck did they make that?
It's
like the same visual gag as the not divorced to divorced thing that Solus does, but that one makes more sense.
Yeah,
they had to add a word here.
When did they make that?
2 words.
How did they get the helicopter keys?
I farted again. I'm so fucking sorry.
You're okay.
I farted again. I'm sorry.
You're okay. And then Crimson's head turn.
Crimson, you guys go watch. I'll find the exact timestamp because you gotta watch it. We cannot explain it in a way that does it justice.
It's
the way that Crimson turns his head towards Chaz is so fucking funny.
And then once you watch it, do it in 0.5 speed and watch it again.
Yeah. The exact timestamp is hang on. Fight scene. Oh, too far. Okay. We're married, bitch. Okay. At 23 minutes and 17 seconds, watch that. It's fucking hilarious. Just
the way that he just turns his head. It's so funny. I have a screenshot of the face he's making that I send to Audie every now and again. It's so good.
Wow, Vizzy Pop almost has 10 million subscribers.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that makes sense, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and then we're almost at the end.
We're so fucking close, guys.
Okay.
Bear with us.
So close. Anyway, back at IMP.
They must have untied and taken the tape off of Moxie's mouth while in the helicopter.
Which, thank God.
Thank fucking God. He's still in the dress, though.
Yeah, who drove the helicopter?
Yeah, who knew how to do that?
And
although,
why?
they do crash it right when they get back, so maybe they don't really know how.
But they did know how to get it there.
Yeah.
And the way that they jump out makes it seem like it's Blitz, just because it's like Millie, Moxie, and then Blitz a few steps further. But also, did they kidnap a driver and just kill him? Like,
I have a follow-up question. How does flying between rings work?
Like, we see that. We see like a little elevator thing when they fly to green.
When they fly to green? Okay, awesome.
So whoever drove it had to aim that.
Yeah.
So that means whoever drove the helicopter knows how to land it.
Yeah.
And chose not to, which makes me think it's Blitz.
Yeah.
Because it just falls and crashes. You hear the crash.
You hear the crash. Yeah, but Moxie thanks Millie for saving him. And then Blitz comes up from behind and goes, "Good to know we both have daddy issues, Mox."
Yeah, also in this moment, Millie says something like, "Next time, just tell me your daddy's a psychopath."
Yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope, I need Blitz and Moxie to fucking have a conversation, like, for realsies.
Yeah, about their dad, specifically.
Yeah, Blitz doesn't know the half of Moxie's daddy issues. Moxie doesn't know shit about Blitz's daddy issues. Like, probably in this moment, he's like, "You're what?" Like, what was your dad like?
He's probably like, yeah.
Yeah,
makes sense.
No, that tracks. But yeah, then Blitz starts talking about fucking Chaz and Moxie's so fucking pissed. Even though he already knew. Like, he heard that shit.
But it's funny because Millie's like a little, like, just straight faced, but Moxie's like, he's so fucking
so
upset.
Angry.
And then the closing scene.
Last scene, we see Chaz's, like, teeth being hung on the wall. He's dead, thank fuck. But then the camera, like, quote unquote, turns here, and Crimson, like, throws a dagger at it's like a family photo that was like Crimson, Moxie, and his mom, and he throws a dagger and it lands on baby Moxie in the picture to imply, like, Crimson's coming back, which we've seen him come back now.
Yeah.
Although he didn't target Moxie.
Yeah, he didn't, which is really interesting.
Yeah, so he's definitely coming back again, so maybe season 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But also we know now that he has an office and shit. Like, he's got an empire.
Yeah.
Which we kind of knew. He's a mafia godfather. But, like, he's widespread, which is interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Right?
Yeah.
We did it?
Yeah, we did it. Let's see, what time are we at?
Oh my god, under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours, we did it.
Holy
and we
shit.
also have time for outro news.
Yes.
So just to recap the news that we had at the beginning, newsletter is in our link tree in our Instagram. Follow the Instagram for updates. Subscribe to the newsletter for updates about us, about the podcast, about everything AA, and also to know stuff a little bit beforehand, before everyone else when we post it on Instagram. The Instagram is at AA Discussions.
Yes.
And yeah, we still have stickers at our Big Cartel site. I believe that's bigcartel. Or is it daddesigns. I think it's dad, capital letters, designs.
Yeah.
.bigcartel.com. Also in our link tree in our Instagram bio.
Yeah. I don't think the caps matters. It doesn't. So just dadesigns.bigcartel.com.
Cool. We still got stickers there. Again, they come with personalized notes and they come with little drawings. And
we're on hiatus now.
We're on hiatus now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's, I guess right now is a really important time to follow the Instagram. And we aren't trying to get you to follow the Instagram to, like, get followers. Like, we genuinely just want you all to be in the loop.
Yes.
And so follow that for updates. And we will definitely keep you in the loop when we know. Mm-hmm. As I've mentioned before, I'm having a surgery next week, less than a week.
Whoa!
And so that's why we're taking this little hiatus. We'll probably be gone for at least 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. Maybe we'll kick back up in January.
July.
But we'll let you know the specifics of that in all of our places. So go to all of our places.
Yeah. And we love all your support. We've been seeing all the responses to all the Q&As and all the specific Q&A questions. We will be doing a Q&A episode at some point and address all of those. Mm-hmm. Also, for people that are new, we've been getting a lot of comments asking about doing specific episodes. So just so you know, we do the episodes in order of the show. So I see that we've gotten recommendations for Happy Campers. We've got recommendations for Mammon, for Oops. We will be getting to those. We just do them in order of the show.
Yes.
So you will see those. Those will come.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Awesome.
Stay sexy.
See y'all.
See ya.
Mwah, 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 mwah.